What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Babes. Oh yeah. I know you thought I was part of the LGBT Film Critic Association, so this is very confusing for you, but I'm going to be all about Babes today. It's good. It's a film. There's a film that's called that. It's directed by Pamela Adlon. It has audio description done by Audio Eyes, uh, and written and narrated by Sean Boggs. So he wrote and did his own narration. And yeah, that's what you need to know. It stars Alana Glazer and Michelle Buteau. Although the supporting cast in this is wide and varied. You have Oliver Platt all the way down to Whoopi Goldberg as the voice of boobs. She is the voice of breasts in this. I am not kidding. I am not kidding. Uh, I'm not going to give you any context in that at all. I'm going to let you find that out for yourself because I loved Babes. Babes is a film about two women who obviously are not like blood related, but they are they just might as well be. Anyway, for my blind audience, I do have a purple hat on backwards. I'm wearing a Fortnite t-shirt and black sunglasses. So um, I liked Sean's audio description here. He keeps it light. I ask questions usually when I get into this. I'm like, so if I did something differently, what would I do? And he feels like he's narrating a comedy, like he knows he's narrating a comedy. I thought that was fine. There's a lot of crude humor here. The only question that I would have would be I would need a sighted person to go back and forth with and just make sure that he didn't shy away from any of it. I feel like it's there. I feel like the jokes are there. I just want to make sure that there isn't anything that we just didn't get. That would be the only thing. That's why sometimes I wish this was also like a podcast where I had like a sighted person and we sat down and we watched everything together. I need a partner. I need to be in a relationship. I need a babe. That's what I need. I need that equivalent. Uh, I would love to be best friends with any one of the three ladies I've mentioned so far. Pamela Adlon, who I loved, her TV show is great. Better Things. I thought she was great on that. Michelle Buteau. I actually like Survival of the Thickest. I think she's hilarious, and Alana Glazer from Broad City. So three funny women, and they've all merged for this film, which of course is funny. Um, but the film starts off. Michelle Buteau is the one that she already has sort of a husband. She has a family. She already has kids. She's having another one, and they open and it's Thanksgiving and they're in a movie theater and she's about to have a baby and they're trying to figure out if her water broke and they're literally in the movie theater. A lot of glazers like staring like up the skirt to see whether or not this is how close a relationship they have, by the way. She's like looking at her vagina and like looking to see because um Michelle Buteau keeps complaining that the chairs are wet every time she sits in them. And now I'm like, I don't want to sit down in chairs in movie theaters. But like her water may have broken, but at the same time, so they're trying to figure it out. Did the water break? And like, could it be like they didn't feel like they're like, well, in movies, it's always like a gush. It's like gushing water, every time there's always just like this huge drop of water that like hits the floor. Could it be just like a dripping thing? And because that's kind of what's happening. This is a lot of information, by the way. But she's like straight up looking at it the whole time, and she's doing this like drip, drip, drip thing, and it sets the tone for how like where the humor is going to be, where these characters are going to be, how close the relationship is. So I mean, you get so much out of this scene and I think it's great because for people who are like, well, I can't handle this level of humor, I'm out. It sends those people a message right away. It's like, well, this is what we're going to be doing. So if you don't like this scene, you're going to be uncomfortable later on. Um, and it also, uh, it also lets you know they are this close. Like, this is how they're not just, it's not just words. This is how close of a relationship these two girls have, these women have. So, um, eventually Michelle has a baby, and then they kind of get, they start kind of separating as Michelle has like less time to hang out because she's like her time is being dominated by kids, and Alana wants to help out, but Alana also meets this nice guy on the subway while she's eating sushi, and they have a relationship, and he gets her pregnant, and unfortunately he dies, and so she's left alone. Sorry, that's a spoiler, but he dies really early in the film. I don't know how, he doesn't have that big of a part. Um, and so she's faced with, I'm going to have to raise a child alone. And there's a lot of talk about, is she mature enough to be able to do that? Michelle Buteau is like, listen, I can barely handle it, and I definitely don't think you can. And isn't quite as supportive, but she's also being spread thin. And so, yeah, their friendship gets kind of pulled apart, and you watch these two people who were that close, and then they seem so far away at certain parts. And it's like, will they come back together? Will these best friends be able to mend their relationship in time for when Alana needs her for her birth? And she just goes through so many different things, and all these different like familiar faces pop up throughout the course of the film. Sandra Bernhard, I don't know. I mentioned a couple people, and yeah, Stefan James. Trying to think of a couple. There are people that are in this that just pop in and out. So I just thought it was really funny. Pamela Adlon, I love her sense of humor. She she's, I think she has an eye for stuff, and she's proving that here. Like, great stepping behind the directors, is stepping behind the camera and into the director's chair here. The cast, Alana Glazer and Michelle Buteau, are both very talented, and they handle their material really well. The film is mostly a comedy, but it does have some more serious moments where they have to kind of argue about things. And I thought they both played really well off of each other. And I don't know, I just really love this movie. I thought it was really funny. I absolutely highly recommend it. I think if you have a chance to watch Babes, it's released by Neon. It'll probably go to Hulu. The question will have audio description. I noticed I got it on the Apple Store for $5. I was like, oh, yeah, that feels like a film I would watch again. And it absolutely is a film I'd watch again. I'm not ashamed at all by that. It's one of the funniest films of the year. If not, I don't think I'm questioning, like, I'm trying to remember like how many times I'd actually laugh at Deadpool and Wolverine, which is not specifically a comedy. Like, that's not its only genre. Now, Babes' only genre really is comedy. So it's weird to say that I think I might have laughed more in Deadpool and Wolverine, but Babes is definitely, as a comedy, it's just a straight up comedy. If I took Deadpool out of the equation because it's like an action comedy, then Babes would be the funniest thing I've seen this year. I also really like Prom Dates. I know nobody else did. Nobody's even watched my review of Prom Dates, but I thought that movie was hilarious. Yeah, so I've seen a couple of films this year that I thought were really funny, but Babes is definitely inventive, creative, cool, has a lot of great one-liners, a lot of great jokes, just quirky characters, everything that you need in a comedy. I'm surprised this didn't do better at the box office. I'm surprised this didn't break out. This feels like something that would break out, but it also feels like something that, would have good vibes, and like that people would notice it. It's something like Bachelorette or For a Good Time Call. Something where it's just like, oh yeah, people have seen that, and they're like, yeah, I like that. And it just never really becomes a classic, but the people who have seen it talk favorably about it. Feels like it could be that too. So, anyway, I recommend it. Babes, I'm giving it an A because I liked it. It's one of my favorite films so far this year. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.